I'm just so impressed anybody's here. Oh my gosh. There's more people than I thought. I thought it'd be like 2. Okay, let's put stuff. Okay, I'm having you stay standing because I would like to read Psalm 86 together. I think it is beautiful when we all read together, and also want to be reminded of the words we're going to be speaking about today. So I have it up on the board in a couple. Is that too small? It was smaller than I thought. A couple different slides, and this is from the NLT version, which I don't always read, but I liked how it had a lot of the words. So I'm going to read it off of here too. So are we ready to read together? All right, Psalm 86. Bend down, O Lord, and hear my prayer. Answer me, for I need your help. Protect me, for I am devoted to you. Save me, for I serve you and trust you. You are my God. Be merciful to me, O Lord, for I am calling on you constantly. Give me happiness, O Lord, for I give myself to you. O Lord, you are so good, so ready to forgive, so full of unfailing love for all who ask for your help. Listen closely to my prayer, O Lord. Hear my urgent cry. I will call to you whenever I am in trouble, and you will answer me. No pagan god is like you, O Lord. None can do what you do. All the nations you made will come and bow before you, Lord. They will praise your holy name. For you are great and perform wonderful deeds. You alone are God. Teach me your ways, O Lord, that I may live according to your truth. Grant me purity of heart, so that I may honor you. With all my heart, I will praise you, O Lord my God. I will give glory to your name forever, for your love for me is very great. You have rescued me from the depths of death. O God, insolent people rise up against me. A violent gang is trying to kill me. You mean nothing to them, but you, O Lord, are a God of compassion and mercy, slow to get angry, and filled with unfailing love and faithfulness. Look down and have mercy on me. Give your strength to your servant. Save me, the son of your servant. Send me a sign of your favor. Then those who hate me will be put to shame. For you, O Lord, help and comfort me. Beautiful job. You guys can sit down now. Thank you for participating in group reading. I think that's a beautiful way to start. When Karen asked me to take over this week, I really was just like, yep, because dependence on God, either way I swing it, I feel like I have. Yes, I need this more than any of us maybe in here. And it's just been what this does for me is it helps me dig in more and more and more. So thank you, Karen. It is truly an honor to have been able to think about this in those last week and kind of look up different things and really be encouraged in my own heart. And I thought, only a couple of us would be here, so hopefully we're all encouraged today. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to give a little historical context to Psalms and to this one, just as a reminder. So the Psalms are a collection of Hebrew poems, songs, and prayers gathered over centuries. They think up to 1,000 years. Written not by just one person, but by many. We believe that David wrote over 70, so probably almost half of them. And only 5 of them are categorized as an actual prayer, from what we know. Many believe that David wrote this prayer as a song, not the other way around, for a very specific occasion, not for a very specific occasion, but one that he probably repeated often when he was in need. We cannot place it at an exact time in David's life necessarily, because there are too many possible points when this could have connected with his general circumstances. In his prayer, he does not use the flowery language that he uses in a lot of the other Psalms, but he is rather direct in who he is, who he believes God to be, and what he needs from him. A really cool guy I was reading about, Alexander McLaren, wrote this about this psalm. I think it's really neat analysis of this one specifically. He said, "We have here a sheaf of arrows out of a good man's quiver shot into heaven. This series of supplications is remarkable in more than one respect. They all mean substantially the same thing, but the psalmist turns the one blessing around in all sorts of ways. So does it seem to him, and so earnest is his desire to possess it. They are almost all quotations from earlier psalms, just as our prayers are often words of Scripture, hallowed by many associations and uniting us with the men of old who cried up to God and were answered." So I thought that was really cool. Interestingly, in this psalm, as we just read, never is the word dependent actually used specifically, but that's what we're talking about today, because that is what the heart of it is about. And I started thinking immediately, like, why is this, I struggle with this, so like, why is this so hard for us? Why is being dependent so hard for us? It is so countercultural to our normal thinking. When I looked up dependent, I kept just looking up different things. It always, honestly, in my mind, seemed sort of negative, like the word dependent. It would say things like, this person has difficulty making decisions, they need to rely on someone, they have fear, they're helpless, they're unable to care for themselves. And I think that this is actually one of the more challenging postures we can have towards God, even though it is the very foundation of our faith. Because faith is trusting God and his ability to work in us and through us, despite the limitations that we have. So if we want our faith to be rooted and grow, we must depend on God. This week, I am starting to care for a 95-year-old woman, part-time, who is unfortunately losing her ability to live alone. She is needing more care in her home so that she can have very basic necessities like food and her ability to take her medicine and shower safely. She has lived almost a century learning independence from infancy, and now it is turning backwards on her with more that she needs help with. And isn't it interesting how we immediately feel sorry for those who lose a sense of independence here on earth? Self-sufficiency, determination, and grit are what we would like to be known for. At least I do. Think of babies and young children. Entire books and podcasts and seminars and weekend retreats are devoted to us raising independent children. Ones that can eat by themselves, potty train, dress themselves, do their chores, homework, learn to drive, go off to college, live by themselves, and find their own way in the world. All in the name of them not being too dependent on us and carving out their own paths. This, we think, is the successful life. And it's not necessarily wrong in the way of the world, but can we see how this mentality muddies us for us not only to remember, but to highlight the fact that our dependency on him is key to our faith. So when our faith relies on dependence, but our world teaches independence, it is no wonder we really struggle. I thought back to our first 2 pages of the Bible in Genesis 2, when God creates this insanely beautiful universe, even with snow, the one that he formed with his hands. We read about this, the light, the dark, the tree, the soils, the fish, the animals, the birds, and then the humans. This garden where his people walked with him directly and talked with him directly, and they felt no shame, no pain, no need. It was literal perfection, literal perfection. They had unity with God, they trusted him, they were safe. God told them to depend on him for anything that they needed. And like, what did they actually need? They had everything. They literally had everything. And so I am confused and embarrassed a little bit by Eve when I read how she was tempted in the garden, because she had everything. At least that's how we feel. But Eve and Adam traded their dependence on God immediately for the vapor of the thought that they could have more. And they traded this false promise that if they disobeyed, they could become independent of God, that they could know more than him, that they would not need to be dependent on him or rely on him. They believed that he was actually holding something back. But of course he wasn't. He held nothing back from them and had given them freedom to roam and walk with him. Their dependence on him meant the ultimate strength, not weakness, because he was the source and they had direct access to everything that he was providing. And so it's a little terrifying to think of the moment that they realized the mistake that they made, because the pursuit of independence led to sin and death for all of mankind. And it's a little easy for me to roll my eyes at them and wonder how they could be so dense if they just would have made a different decision, because they had everything. And it just, when I think about it, I'm like, why did you want that independence of him? And then I realize maybe I do this every single day, because we also have God with us now through his Spirit, and we do have direct access to him. We do have everything that we need in this world. He promises to us that he's going to help us get through it, but we just want to do things our own way. I am often tempted to just talk or text or convince or manipulate or plan for things to go the way I want them to go. I like to fix things. I like to figure them out. I like to call my Christian friends, often before I realize that I really need to rely on him. If I'm honest, I like him to get on board with my plan, sometimes a lot quicker than I get on board with his plan, and have me depend on what his best plans are for me. And I miss out when that happens. So from the beginning of time until now, as we can see, our spirits really have yearned for independence, unfortunately. Looking at history, we see the movement that peels away to individualism. Also this past week, in a car ride, I was listening to Jenny Allen. Is my book club here? My ladies? Yes, okay. We have a really fun, haphazard book club in our group, and we're reading Find Your People. And Jenny was pointing out the fact that one of our first acts as Americans was the Declaration of Independence, right? It is literally our core identity. It really is. So even deeper than who God created us to be, our nation has this as well. This is what Jenny says. For the past 250 years, we have been declaring our independence with increasing pitch and volume, with greater and greater insistence that we can handle life on our own. So this does not just apply to village living. This idea has been shaped into our souls and how we should be doing things on our own. And it definitely affects the way in which we trust and rely on God, because our little human minds and hearts can often have a hard time separating how we live in our normal life and are trying to become independent from the reality, from his reality and what we should be doing. So, what does it mean to totally depend on God? Does it mean that we sit back and let him do everything? No, I don't think we should be lazy. But does it mean that we just ignore him and do everything ourselves? No. It's a balance, I would say. Total dependence on God is the process in which we allow God to go before me and beside me, beside us and before us. Deuteronomy 31:8 says, "And the Lord, he is the one who goes before you. He will be with you. He will not leave you or forsake you. Do not fear or be dismayed." The Lord goes before us and actually does really direct our paths, because he knows it all. In Proverbs 3, it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. I think often, or maybe always, I think I have the best idea because it makes sense to me and it feels right. However, we need God to direct our paths because he, of course, has the greater perspective. His ways are higher than ours. He knows what we need at all times. And he is a good, good father. I actually had that in my notes, so thanks for that song. Who knows what's best for us? But it does take time and practice, I think, to settle into this rhythm. So we read Psalm 86. What a gift. I'm going to have you put up the beginning of those 3 slides. So I kind of broke it down. I know we did this a little bit in our study too, but I took the whole psalm and I just broke it up into what he says. So this is what he is saying. David is saying these things. I am poor and needy, devoted, trusting, calling to you, praising you, and glorifying your name. And then mixed up with this, he's saying, God, you are all of these amazing things, forgiving, faithful, slow to anger, marvelous, great, deliverer, compassionate, gracious. And then, again, mixed up in all of these, he's asking God all of these things. Please hear me. Please guard my life. Save me. Have mercy on me. Listen to my cry. Teach me your ways. Give me an undivided heart. Turn to me. Give me strength. Show me your goodness. It helped my mind to kind of separate these a little bit because I really wanted to fully understand what he was saying. And like that quote earlier, it's a little bit repetitive. But when you kind of look at it, I think that David is giving us a really cool framework for how to pray to become more dependent on God. So what is he doing? He is telling God of his troubles and his afflictions and what he believes about him. And then he is telling God who he believes God is. And then he's asking him for help. It seems simple, actually, when you lay it out that way. And so I think that this could be a really cool pattern for our prayers on dependence through him. David's posture, his entire posture, his praise and his asking, it just reflects how dependent he really is. He's not only just stating his needs. He's not just begging and desperate. There's a vein also of praise that runs throughout. And I think that just really shows that, like, not only is he just asking, but he also trusts because he's giving back. He's had history with God, and he knows that God is worthy of praise. And so I think that's a beautiful blueprint for how we can pray. His prayers kind of go like this. I am needy. You are everything. Please help. I trust you. You are faithful. Please help me. I am calling on you. You are my deliverer. Please help me. David's need for God was great, and he wasn't shy about it. And his love for God was great, and he wasn't shy about it either. And I think with my own life this week, I really, truly have been encouraged to think and pray like this. I have literally thought, like, God, I am blank. You are all these wonderful things. I am so desperate. I need you in this situation. I know that we all have situations that we cannot fix on our own right now. I have many things boiling in the back of my life and world that I know that there is absolutely nothing that I can talk it into or try to manipulate or control. Really, truly, God is the only one that can fix these things. And so I'm reminded that when I depend on him, and the more I depend on him and the more I pray like this, really the more peace I have to be able to settle into this. When we speak words in repetition and have thoughts in repetition, they really become like a well-worn path, in our minds. It actually neurologically is a real thing. Our minds actually can create neural pathways for things to become easier the more that we repeat them. And so, the more we repeat, think, and speak of our dependence on God, the more we will default into this, I believe. into that posture when we are in need. I like to think of like walking to the beach in one of those woodsy areas along Lake Michigan, and there's a bunch of paths. The one that the people walk through the most are the easiest, right? Because they have least amount of junk in the way, and they're the easiest to walk through. And so I want my prayer life and my dependence on God to become that path, not the one that goes through the woods and gets ticks, right? Like we want ours to be the smoothest because we have practiced it and practiced it and practiced it. And so we want to make it easier to reach our destination on that well-worn path because these prayers have been in us. And so here's my blessing for you today. Let's keep praying for our dependence on Him so that when we have need, like David, we can immediately fall into our dependence rather than into ourselves. May the path of our hearts towards dependence on Him be worn down and clear, because He will never, ever disappoint us. All right, let's pray before we go to our groups. Father, thank you. Thank you that we can depend on you. Thank you that you always, always are here and that you hear our prayers every single time. May we just be encouraged today to continue to come down the pathway to depend on you and build our faith on this fact. Thank you so much for your love for us. In your name, amen. Thank you, ladies. Have a wonderful morning.